Hello and welcome to the ISE ETF and Index Outlook for July 9th, 2012. This is Patrick Sresna. As always, we start off with a chart of the S&P 500 using that spider exchange rate fund symbol SPY. When we saw that gap up last week, we were suggesting that there was room for follow through even up into the 138 level, but we see quickly how the price action was able to start reversing off of these key levels. There's always room for a couple retests on the upside and even a couple false starts, but we're still of the conviction that there is still yet another round of substantial selling coming in this summer, going into the fall, before we bang out a proper buying opportunity in the market. That doesn't necessarily have to result in a market crash, but at least at minimum retest of the lows that were already put in earlier this year, if not slightly overshooting to the 124 to 126 level on the downside. Nonetheless, we at this stage think that the market is in the upper end of the range of where it will put in its highs, and so the risk reward proposition of holding long stocks here is a diminishing value. The first index I wanted to take a look at was the ISE Cloud Computing Index, which is a symbol CPQ, and we had a substantial reversal in the index on Friday based upon some results of some individual company components within there. This really at this point has been just simply a consolidation flag, and with any technical breaks of the 1750 level where the low from last week was, it certainly would open the window for a move down to test that 1650 to 17 zone down below. Now that may be where the lows of any sell cycle are contained, but if the broader market goes through a much more robust sell cycle, there is room for it to move to a measured move all the way down to the 1550 level on the downside. Next, I want to take a look at the ISE Global Engineering and Construction Index, which is symbol CVL, and we see a similar formation to that of what we were looking for on all the other indices, and that's just these rising flags or a consolidation off of an extremely oversold market. At some juncture here, if the whole market does roll over, it is likely that this construction index will more likely go through one more sell cycle, at minimum retesting its 200 low. We could see an overshoot that could easily go down to even the 180, 175 level on the downside if the selling really accelerated. Finally, I want to take a look at the ISE Global Platinum Index, which is symbol ORE, and this Platinum Index has actually been particularly weaker than any other of the indices that we normally track, and we continue to see very predominant weakness here. And while we do believe there is room for this to continue to deteriorate here, we are of the opinion that this is starting to get extremely oversold. A lot of the stocks associated with all precious metals and specialty metals have really had a very weak cycle since March, and at some juncture the selling will likely subside, but really at this stage, if the whole market turns lower here, particularly driven by a strong US dollar, we could see this platinum index first have to test levels in the 55, 60, 65 zone down below before we start looking for a bigger picture bottom, which we think we would be buyers of, but we're first going to let this cycle play out. That was your ISE ETF and Index Outlook. Thank you for joining me.